Should you spend money on inventory daily in your Amazon FBA online arbitrage business? This is a question that is not commonly asked, but that is something that is really important for you guys to understand. If you've been following my content for long enough, you know that I often talk about inventory turnover, or the average day on items spent in your inventory, because these numbers are way more important. Your inventory turnover, if you want to scale fast, is actually way more important than the average return on investment that you make. It is one of the biggest levers that you can pull if you want to scale your business fast. It's a lot of work with fast to have an inventory that has a fast turnover, but it is actually worth it if you are trying to scale. So before we get into all that, I'm going to explain all this to you because, of course, 4th of July is coming soon, okay? As I'm recording this video, it's June 29th. 4th of July is coming in a couple of days, and you know that 4th of July, there's a ton of sales where you can actually buy inventory, right? So this is why actually I made this video today, to make sure that you understand these concepts, because they are super important for your business if you are doing online arbitrage. Before we start, if you do not know me, my name is Mangunza. I release daily videos right here on YouTube, on this channel, to help you sell on Amazon and become a 7-figure seller. So you have everything that you need with my free content. If you need more help, I offer coaching. There's a link in the description. All right? So, as I said, one of the biggest numbers that you need to understand is your inventory turnover. Not only your inventory turnover, but you need to know how much time the average item spent in your inventory, right? And so, ideally, it should be above 20, because with all the low inventory level fees and all that stuff, it should usually be above 28 days, except there are some exceptions, right? But we are not going to talk about this today. We'll talk more about that on a video specifically about the low inventory level fee, right? But usually you want it to be over 28 days, and you want to make sure that you are not paying long-term inventory storage fee. With Amazon, if your inventory is in Amazon FBA warehouses for more than 6 months, so usually you want to be under 6 months, all right? Because more than that, you're going to pay. And so 6 months is a lot. We're going to talk about that. 6 months is a lot because it would be an inventory turnover of two, and you want to be way higher than that if you want to compound your money faster, right? Which is what we want to do. Except if you have $10 million to invest in inventory, at that point, you don't care about your inventory turnover, and you just, yes, you still care, but you get what I'm saying, right? So you need to understand, here's the thing that you need to understand. Return on investment, the average return on investment that you make on an item is not the most important thing. It is something that you need to look at the same time as you look at your inventory turnover, because it's great if you make 100% return on investment. It's great actually on an item. It's great, except if it takes 1 year to sell. Because at this point, if really you were running your business the most optimized way, you would have been able to flip, even if it was at 20% return on investment, if you're able to flip that money 6 times, I believe that at 6, if you have an inventory turnover of 6, it should be above 100. It should be above 100% return on investment. Let me make the calculation. So if we have 120 times 120 times 120 times 120. Yeah, so already after 4 turns, we are already above 100%. So in less than 1 year, in 8 months, if you have a return on investment of, if you have an inventory turnover around 6, which is something that I actually, that you should actually strive for, to at least be above 6. And the closer you are to 30 days, the faster your business is going to be able to scale. But you see that a 100% return on investment is not that great if it takes 1 year to sell, right? And this is the whole point that I'm trying to make. Of course, as July 4th gets closer, so right now, for example, if you do not have a ton of capital, even if you have a lot of capital, it may be worth it to sit on capital for a little bit, because the July 4th sales are going to come, and you're going to be able to spend a lot of money on super profitable inventory. One thing that you need to know is that, I'm not a huge fan of limited time deals on some items like these, because there's a lot of those that, if you do not know the sales cycle of those ASINs and all that stuff, that are going to tank, right? But this is something that you really need to understand. One of the most important metric in your business that a lot of people are actually not tracking is inventory turnover. You really need to know, you really need to understand how fast it takes to actually sell your inventory. You need to optimize this number. And you really need to optimize the number, because people say that, if you make a 20-25% return on investment, it's not that great. Actually, if you scale your business, and if you are able to get a 20% return on investment, okay, after returns, of course, if you're able to get a 20% return on investment, and you are able to flip your inventory 12 times a year with an inventory turnover of 12, I'll take this over 30%, 6 times a year. All right, just do the math. Super easy to do. Just do the math. You'll see why I'm saying this. You're going to be able to scale your money way faster. And I made a couple of videos about that in the past. It's really important for you guys to understand that return on investment is not, and you should really not look at any KPI in a vacuum. And this is something that I've been saying over and over again. Do not look at KPI in a vacuum. Return on investment is great, but you need to look at this with inventory turnover. And I know that there's no tool that gives you a clear-cut answer, so you need to make the calculation yourself. There's no tool that currently gives you a clear-cut answer of your inventory turnover, while this is actually one of the most important metrics when you run an inventory business, you know? So, this is a number that you really need to understand and really try to optimize. You should not go too deep in stock, and you should not go you should not be too shallow neither, you know, but you should not go too deep in stock because it is going to impede your growth. And going deep is fine sometimes. You know, the thing with going deep is that it makes your business run it's way easier to run your business. But if you are actually going wider and not as deep in inventory, and you are trying to stay around 30 days worth of inventory, you're going to be able to scale your business so fast. And this is one of the things that I've been working on, especially when I was in the US, because as you can see, I'm not in the US right now because I started traveling. I'm back in Belgium for a little while, for a couple of weeks. And so back when I was in the US, I was able to reduce my inventory turnover, the average night I'm spending in my inventory, to 30 days and 30.54 days. I think this was the exact number, right? Because I was also doing a lot of FBM at the same time, which was cutting down my time, but I was buying a ton of inventory for those FBA items, for those FBM items. So it could have been, because it was such a great deal, and so I still have some of that inventory that I actually sent to FBA before traveling, and so it might have been way lower. I think if you do FBM, you can potentially get it to 2 weeks. You should, if you are 100% FBM, you should be able. If you do OA, okay, if you do OA, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you do FBM, OA, you should be able to get that down to 2 weeks, I believe. And this is an experiment that I would need to run. I would need to actually look at these numbers, because I'm pretty sure that I was able to get to that number. But like, I would need to separate my FBA numbers and my FBM numbers to be able to really see and see my inventory turnover for my FBM inventory. But like, the lower you are able to get this number, the faster your business is going to be able to grow. And I've released a few videos on that in the past. And so you should not only chase return on investment. This is the big thing that I'm saying with this video. You should not specifically look for return on investment. And to actually answer the question, that I tried to answer in today's video, as a beginner, I think that it's actually better for you. So you should not waste too much on sales, like 4th of July sales, back to school sales. You should really be spending money daily, because you're going to be able to spend money. You do not have the capital to go deep anyway in some specific sales. So if you actually do this, if the only thing that you do is wait for July 4th to actually spend some money, you know, you could have flipped that money already. And so yes, it's great if you can get a 70-80% return on investment. That's great. It's not, but at the end of the day, it's not interesting if you actually waited 2 weeks to actually stack up that money to be able to spend that money. It doesn't make any sense, right? If you want to scale fast, it's fine to take a lower return on investment, but spend money daily. That way you can have inventory going into Amazon all the time and actually have of course, return on investment is going to be lower, but you're going to be able to scale and to get your money back faster and spend that money back on inventory again as fast, right? So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you tomorrow for a new video. Thank you for watching.